Donald Trump is rich, really rich, he says, but his campaign not so much. The media are freaking out over the latest FEC reports, which show that the Trump campaign in the month of May raised a total of $3 million. That's pathetic by national presidential standards. Hillary Clinton in the same month raised $28 million. She's got plus $40 million in the bank compared to the Trump campaign. Before we go completely bonkers over this, a couple of cautionary notes. The press always pays way too much attention to money. Money's important in politics, don't get me wrong. But if raising huge, massive amounts of big bucks were the deciding factor in elections, then Jeb Bush with his $100 million campaign would be the Republican nominee. Instead, he barely made it through the first few primaries. Also, I don't think Trump needs as much money as a typical candidate, even going up against the Clinton machine, because he has that ability to drive the media coverage, to drive the political conversation. We've almost never seen a candidate like this. So I think that Donald Trump could be competitive against Hillary Clinton if he raised, say, half as much money as the billion or so dollars that she is expected to raise. Having said all that, you can't get outraised by 10 times as much or 20 times as much. You have to have enough money to put some kind of team on the field. During the primaries, it was pretty remarkable. Trump had about 70 staff members and managed to win the GOP nomination. Most of the press thought that was impossible. When you get to the general election, you're fighting 50 state elections at once. You need to be able to put people in the field. You need to be able to turn out, identify your voters and turn them out. You need money for television ads. I don't think ads are as important as they have been in many, many past cycles. But if you are getting creamed on the air, in the air wars by the other candidate, and you're barely doing anything, that's not good. And so I think even Trump recognizes this. Now, he was out with a couple of morning show call-ins yesterday saying, not a problem, because he could always just write himself a big fat check. Now, that's true except for a couple of things. One is, if Trump were to contribute more money to his campaign, then it will be even harder for him and the RNC to raise money, because donors will say, well, the guy's doing it himself. What do I need to open my checking account for him? Secondly, as rich as Trump might be, I don't think he can finance anything close to $1 billion or even a $500 million general election campaign. He's talked about, well, I could sell a couple of buildings. Does he really want to do that? And so you have this imbalance, not just in money, but in what money can buy. Hillary Clinton has got a staff that's 10 times the size of Trump's staff. Now, Trump told me just the other day he's proud of that, because in business that would be, being lean and efficient and winning the nomination for far less than she spent. But going into the general election, Trump has to find a way to rectify this. And his problem is that with this huge split in the Republican Party, a lot of the big money donors are not exactly lining up to give him money. So either he's got to dig into his own pockets, find some sugar daddies, or rely more heavily on the RNC. I do think the media freakout is a bit premature, but at the same time, there's a big flashing red light here, which is Donald Trump has got to find a way to finance this campaign, and he can't just do it on the cheap with Twitter and Instagram and holding a lot of rallies as he did in the primaries.